Welcome to Stories We Love. Stories We Love is about stories we love. We bring you extraordinary people, situations, or circumstances that will remind you of how much good there is in the world, warm your heart, open your mind, and inspire you in new ways. I'm your host, Karen Lorre. We interview people who truly care and who are making a positive difference that benefits this gorgeous planet and its amazing people and creatures. We talk with those who remind us that even just as one person, we have much more power than we think. I'm so very happy that you are here. Stay tuned because today we get to speak with the amazing Joe Wright, the SUP Garbage Man. SUP stands for Stand Up Paddleboard. And welcome, Joe. What inspired you to pick up litter on your SUP?
Hi, Karen. Thanks for having me. I much appreciate the opportunity to share and talk about something that's really important to me and I'm passionate about. So, hearing your intro very much resonates with my belief in what I'm doing. So, what inspired me initially was, I think, just a general appreciation for nature. Growing up in Florida, my parents took me to all kinds of national parks, and we were always going to the ocean or the rivers. And just general awareness of what is out there in our natural world to see and experience. And then along those lines, my mom would take us out on dog walks and have us pick up different things that we find for letters of the alphabet. You know, as little kids, we would pick up acorn, and then we would find a plastic bottle cap, and that would be B for bottle cap and C for chip bag, and so on. And ever since then, I realized that, you know, this great nature experience that we get to have on the planet, you know, it's such a wonderful thing that it's inundated with things that humans have created, and just it's out there, just about, you know. How it got there, I didn't know. I just knew it was there. And so from that, fast forwarding through life, just seeing what was in the water, one day something just clicked, and I was just putting stuff on my paddleboard, and it sounds kind of weird, but I'm out in the river picking up trash, and it's meditative, right? It soothes me. It calms my brain, even though there's so much trash that I can hear, you know, bottles that have been under the grass and under the mud for years. Just decided to do something about it. Tired of complaining and hearing people complain, so I said, I'm just going to do something about it. So I started collecting trash.
Sounds like you got an amazing mom.
Oh yeah, definitely. Super awesome. Very inspirational in that regard for sure. So I owe a lot of that to her.
So you pick up litter. Do you know how much you've collected?
If you look at other litter picking groups and the ways other folks track it, they track by weight. I tend to track by volume. So I measure the size of my crates, length, width, height, do some math, know how much cubic feet fits in that crate. And so every time I fill it up, I calculate it. I have a spreadsheet with like 500 lines of data of the times I've went out, what I've collected, how much of what bin, and I think I have like 3 or 4 different bins that are all in there, and all equations and all that stuff. And it comes out over the last 2 years, since May of 2019, about 3,700 cubic feet. Sounds like a big number, and when you compare it to, and this is why I do volume, because you know, a ton of feathers is bigger than a ton of bricks, right? So a ton of feathers would take up more room. Trash takes up room on the shore. So I picture it as I'm removing this much from nature. So when you look at 3,700 cubic feet, it's about the size, a little bit bigger than a city bus, or if you ever see like a standard dump truck drive around, fill up 10 of those, the back of those. So all off of one person going one trip at a time on my paddleboard. So,
what are the most common or weird things that you've gotten?
Well, most common things, plastic bottles, no surprise, right? Plastic bottles are everywhere, unfortunately, and styrofoam. There's actually a lot of styrofoam in the river, from to-go containers to cups, to packing material like little peanuts, to what you would see, like maybe encasing a TV in a box, broken up. Um, Found some pretty strange things. I would say the oddest thing category, I guess, I find is medical stuff. To include the weirdest, oddest thing was a vial of blood. I found pregnancy tests, IV bags. I found like the boot that you would wear if your ankle was broken. I found one of those.
I really appreciate you doing this, Joe, so much. It's just beautiful. And I read that you got some companies that support you.
I do, yeah. So I started this with with just the intention of just taking pictures and putting them online and Instagram for just to make a cause, create awareness of what's out there. Hoping maybe some other paddleboarders would see what I'm doing, see that I have a full time job, and if I can get this much, then they might pick up a something when they see it, or be deterred from buying something that they didn't need, right? And so that's where it started, and then I started with a hard paddleboard, and then ended up getting I bought an inflatable one from iRocker, and I started tagging them in a lot of my posts. And then one thing led to another. They gave me a sponsorship ambassador program, gave me a board to help me with what I'm doing. And they've been really supportive on the back end with communication and stuff like that. Also, Werner Paddles gave me a paddle, and we created some sort of partnership with them under their Healthy Waters initiative. So it was really motivating.
That makes me love those companies even more because they're supporting you and they're supporting the environment. So, with all of this trash, where do you think it comes from? Like, is it just unconsciousness where people don't care?
I tried to put a lot of thought into that when I first started, and honestly, it all let every line of or train of thought that I went down, line of thinking, all just came back to people. People. The cause of trash is people. I don't see turtles out there with factories. I don't see butterflies throwing things out windows.
As a kid, I used to see people throw trash down and I'd run after them. I'd pick it up and say, "Excuse me, sir, you dropped this," or "Ma'am." And they'd say, "Oh, it's trash." And I'd say, "Oh, well, there's a trash can over there." And it's probably totally inappropriate, but I was very passionate about keeping the earth clean, as clean as it can be.
It's not only the people who are intentionally littering that causes the problem. I think it's everybody. I bought the phone that I'm talking to you on, right? I'm sitting in a chair that is made of plastic that was purchased. There's lights, we all have bought something in our lives. So there is something that to be said that people create the trash. Should we all just stop buying things? I don't think that's possible.
You talked about how as you're doing this, you get that meditative thing that this soothes you. Can you talk about just how that feels and maybe let others know how this might benefit them as well?
Benefit for me, one, it does calm my mind. If anxious about something or stressed about something, I say meditative, but it's something that when I'm out picking up the trash and finding things, one, it's like a little treasure hunt, but then also just like the act of picking things up and sorting them into my baskets and then putting them in the board. I could do that for hours, and it just kind of spaces me out, resets me, because I'm doing something that is hands-on, tangible. I can see a result when I'm done, and so it just kind of lets my brain go into subconscious mode and not have to worry about the ins and outs of the day, because what I'm doing is the most important thing I'm doing at that point in time. And then on the side of the nature piece, it's when I'm out there, I see wildlife all the time: bald eagles, otters, beavers, all kinds of foxes, and so that stuff's really cool. I learned that fish hunt as a team just by being out on the paddleboard. I've never thought fish did that. I saw them, a row of fish and another row of fish and another row of fish, and they're all swimming in staggered formation, and you could see them swimming to get stuff. And I would have never seen that, And so that kind of stuff, it just reminds me why I'm out there. And then I get that benefit of it, just relearning how important nature is. I get the benefit of the meditative, and then on top of that, knowing that it's doing something good for the world, right? So I never really started this to, I guess, change the world. I know my one piece of work that I'm doing is not going to be the solution. It takes a bunch of people and takes everybody. So maybe other folks can find something that when they do it, they genuinely just feel a calm. And if you take that thing that you do that you like to do and you generally makes you feel calm, if there's a way you can apply that to an environmental aspect, no matter how small, you'll find that you're one, you're becoming one with your own self, and then also doing something good, and then it motivates you to do that more and more and more and more, especially when you start getting support from external sources. So I don't know. It all kind of is a weird little hobby with a combination of passions that I say it's not. I didn't drastically change my life, but what I'm doing, I'm using to drastically change the environment. If that makes sense.
Absolutely. I love that. One more thing just came up because as you're talking about
Sure.
how it sort of resets your mood, it puts you in that place where you're calmed down. I imagine that makes you a better worker. It makes you a better husband. I would just imagine that just because you're getting out of that anxiety.
Yeah, I would say so. I would say that it definitely helps me focus on what's important, right? If you're having a rough day, and then if I'm having a rough day or a rough week and busy week at work, and I can spend the time on Saturday, and there's no time limit to race to get somewhere. Yeah, that Saturday afternoon is just so relaxed. I feel accomplished because I did something, and it's just like a better mood.
Hmm.
I will say, on the other side, I have to be careful not to rush through it on the weekdays, because then I start allowing that external societal factors of hurry, hurry, hurry to invade my meditative time, and so that does kind of stress me out. But I know that maybe I don't need to fill the board up completely today, and maybe I don't need to get the pictures to get the content for Instagram today. I can fill the board up to what I can get, and that's what I can get. Because if I get one piece of trash on an outing, then I've done something better than sitting on the couch or not doing anything. So I have to remind myself of that and stay aware of that, because it can become more stressful if I let it. But I try to focus on the things that make it more positive.
That is really important. Well, Joe Wright, stand up paddleboard sup garbage man. Thank you so very much. This has felt edifying, beautiful, inspiring. I really appreciate what you're doing. Thank you so much. And I hope you keep doing it for as long as it feels right for you. And I hope all of you who are watching or listening that you might get inspired to do something that benefits this planet or someone else. Thank you so very much. And thank you everyone who is listening. And please stay tuned because more stories you love are going to be coming soon. Again, my name is Karen Lorre. Thank you so very much.